Okay, everyone, so I just had this thought, and it's very, oh, that's a bug on my throat. Just very thankful thought. What was it? Just, it's such a blessing to be obedient to Christ. Okay, I know that sounds kind of weird, but so I was just driving home from work, and I passed a homeless dude kind of by a Walmart on 52nd here. And, right away, I was just kind of like, oh, I should get that guy some food or something. And I kind of pushed it off and just kept driving. And then I pulled up, I was passing Casey's, and I was like, oh, maybe I should turn. And then I ended up chickening out, and then there was another turn. I was like, fine, I'll do it. So I turned off, pull into Casey's, and I bought some snacks, a good variety of things. I think I spent $15 or something, not too bad, right? Turn around, I'm like, okay, God, I hope that guy's still there. So I start driving back, get across the bridge to the Walmart. If you know where 52nd Avenue is, you know what I'm talking about. So turn left off 52nd, and that guy's not there. He's not at the right intersection where he originally was. I'm like, oh, Lord, please, I hope he didn't get picked up by a bus or anything. So I keep driving down, turning towards Walmart, and there he is walking. So I'm like, yes. And then there was another homeless guy that was right on the other corner, kind of closer to Walmart. And I was like, yo, double whammy, let's go. So I pull into Panda Express parking lot, park there, and hop out with my bag of snacks or whatever, and I walk over to the one side of the street to the guy that I originally saw that had now moved. And I'm like, hey, so I just bought a bunch of snacks because I saw you earlier, but I saw another guy. Is it okay if I split it? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Super awesome, chill dude. I think he was a vet. And basically, so I ended up giving him the cheesy potatoes. I think that's what they were, the sauce for them, and like a bottle of water. And I chatted with him a bit, and he told me a bit of his story. And it was about, I think he said he lived in, I think it was Israel and maybe Japan. It was like he's been around the world a bit. And I gotta turn up the AC a little bit. It's getting really hot. And yeah, basically he's like, oh yeah, I used to live in Ohio. I'm like, oh yeah, I might be going there for college at some point if I do college. I'm like, to study Hebrew. And he's like, oh really, I'm Jewish. That's what he said. And so I was like, oh, do you know any Hebrew? And he actually taught me a couple of like cuss words in Hebrew, which was really funny. They were just like the two that came to his head, and he told me. One of them was putz. I think that's how you say it. Putz, something like that, which means idiot. And then there was another word, which I can't remember, but it was basically meant an effing bitch. And so he was like really funny with it. I was like, in my head, I'm like, this isn't right, but I just laughed because it was funny. And super friendly dude. And then also he was just like so encouraging. He's like, I have hope for your generation. Like, and he was just very positive and very encouraging. And he's like, man, this interaction has humbled me today. That's what he said. I'm just like, God is so good. Like, all praise to God, He's like, what he told me, he's like, I hope you go to bed feeling like you're a good person. I'm like, I gotta stay humble, but like, gotta redirect that to God and be like, all praise to God. So then basically, said peace out to him, whatever, and walked over to the other guy. That guy wasn't as talkative. He was friendly, but not as, I guess, nice of a guy, you could say. But pretty sure, I know he was a veteran from what his sign said. But so I gave him the meat stick and offered him the puppy chow, and he said, oh, I'm diabetic, so I can't have the puppy chow. So that was all right. Then I asked him a bit of his story, and he said he was born in Florida. I believe it's Florida, maybe California. One of those two. I know they're very different, but... and then, yeah, his name was Paul. I can't remember the first guy's name, but yeah, so his name was Paul. And, yeah, so he was just super nice dude. The first guy was, second guy, Paul, was decently nice. And, yeah, so I got a chat with him, shook his hand, and then so now I have this puppy chow left, right? Not in my hand, but you can imagine it. And so I walk back over towards my truck, and there's the other guy sitting there. So I run over. I'm like, hey, you get puppy chow too, because the other guy's diabetic. And the guy's like, oh, thank you. And then, said goodbye, patted him on the shoulder or whatever. And now I'm in the truck driving home. And I've been talking for almost 5 minutes, just completely rambling to my phone. But, yeah, no, I was just right after that, a minute or two, I was like, man, back to what I said at the start, like, just obeying God even just like those little whispers is such a blessing, both to the other people and to you. Like, this just, I don't have any Bible verses or anything to base this off of. I'm sure there's, you know, whatnot, just by reading the stories of Jesus. But like, man, I feel just so joyful and happy that I was able to serve in that a little bit. So yeah, super random, but just totally awesome, and an encouragement to you. If you ever feel a little tug on your heartstrings or anything, just like serving people, even if it's awkward, even if you don't know what to say, even if it's just like 3 seconds or the people shut you down, like, do it enough times, it'll definitely be worth it most of the time, from my experience. So yeah, shout out God, all praise to him, and make sure to read your Bibles. Talk to you guys later.